Hello, I'm Wes Anderson, formerly known as Rockwell Anderson.
And I'm Mel, formerly known as Mischievous Mel. And for over a decade, Wes and I traveled over 20 states and 2 foreign countries, photographing over 1,300 bands and interviewing over 400 of them.
Our traveling rock and roll life came to an end in late 2019 when Mel and I became born-again Christians, and it changed again dramatically in January 2020 when I was diagnosed with a deadly and currently without a cure cancer called adenoid cystic carcinoma.
Because only God knows when our last day is going to be, Wes and I decided to make every day a new adventure, and that's how the Adventures of Wes and Mel was born. But our adventures aren't just about us. How boring would that be? So we are coming to a locale near you and want to know what makes your town special. Where are we going to eat? What are we going to see? What is it that only the locals know? Show us the hidden gems. We want you to become part of our adventures.
So contact us or follow us at The Adventures of Wes and Mel on any of these platforms, and we hope to see you on our next adventure.
Hey guys, it's Mischievous Mel, and I am at House of Blues in Boston next to Badge of Bullet for my Valentine.
Hello.
See, I was going to try to be like all low-key and calm, but it's exciting to be sitting here talking to you.
Cool. Yeah, looking forward to this interesting interview.
Yeah. You see the look of fear in his eyes? It's not just because my hair looks witchy. It's because I basically told him beforehand I was going to, just fucking throw shit at him that he's probably not going to be prepared for.
Absolutely. Let's go.
I scare people. That's what I do.
No, I'm not scared.
Hold on. It will get there. No. Speaking of scared, because we have talked to a Bullet for my Valentine a lot about your music, and we love your music, so I want to get to know you guys deeper. And I am interested in, ghost hunts and ghost haunts. And I know you guys did, Most Haunted. What was that experience like for you?
It's definitely a different experience. I remember years ago when it was a big thing on TV and stuff with, what's the name, Yvette Fielding and stuff like that, and the boys used to be into ghosts, and that's how it came around. Moose, our old drummer, messaged her on Twitter. They became friends, and then they invited us to do a episode of Most Haunted. So we went to this big, spooky, haunted house in Wales somewhere, and wandered around doing Ouija boards and muttering things at corners of the room, and I mean, it was a good laugh, but I wasn't 100% sold.
So you're kind of a skeptic.
Yes.
So the reason I'm asking you, not just because I look like a witch today, and people have called me such things, but we are really close to Salem, Massachusetts, which is where the witch trials happened and the historic of hanging them and all the haunty stuff. Are you going to check that out? And if so, are you going to be skeptical?
No, I'm probably not going to check it out because I'm too skeptical. I'll probably just go for a pint next door in the Irish bar.
Well, that will work too. I hear the Dropkick Murphy's bar is down the street.
Oh, maybe I'll go down there as well.
Yes, and they also, if you're into sports, all the sports stuff is around here. I know they're practicing out there today. You can tell I'm into it, right? We're right across from, what stadium are we across from?
Fenway Park.
Fenway Park,
Yeah.
So.
It's a big one. Yeah, we've played here a few times before. I think we came here in 2016 with Ask and Alexandria. So we're familiar with the venue and the area.
You know, one thing about watching you on stage is, you guys have been around for a quick minute. Not that you're 100 years old, but you've been in the game for a while. You've rocked stages worldwide. And I love watching the whole band. But for some reason, you're the one that captivates because you're just so happy up there. I mean, you look like your face is going to explode from your smile. Like when you play, it is like that. I mean, because obviously you're putting in blood, sweat, and tears. You're getting to see the world, but it's a double-edged sword because people don't understand how hard tour can be. So I just want to know from your experience what it's like for you from.
Yeah, it is very hard, but the reward is, hearing, seeing the people there in front of you, singing the songs back to you and stuff like that. I mean, that's priceless. So that's kind of what makes me happy. For that hour or so that you're on stage, you I wouldn't say godlike, but you're sort of untouchable, and that is my happy place. That's my that's what I feel all nice, and I get to play my guitar, which is the best thing ever.
So basically, you're standing up there showing us your soul.
Yeah, yeah.
I love it. I absolutely, because
As I can.
I love it because it's real. You know, some of these guys just go through the motions. And watching you, and I've seen you guys a lot of times. I've never seen that from your band. I've seen the passion, and that's what makes me keep coming back to shows.
Yeah. It does. I guess it pours out of me.
What is your plans for the future besides music? Like when you are done, besides touring music, because I don't think you'll ever quit playing. But where do you see yourself as a retired person?
Good question. I mean, I'll always work. Probably always in music, you know, whether it's writing, recording other bands. The touring side of it, you know, that will have to end one day, unfortunately, because, you know, everyone's going to get older and it tires you out, man. I mean, we've been on the road all year. This is the third time we've been in America. Feels like I haven't been home at all this year, and you question yourself sometimes: is it worth it? Because you miss so much family time and you know, with your girlfriend and your friends and the people you love. But then you step out on stage and you realize that you're doing it for an amazing reason, you know. So it swings and roundabouts. It's really weird, but I don't know. Retire. Maybe do a bit of gardening. I don't know, just chill out. Maybe get a cheap holiday home in Spain somewhere, you know, and just sit in the sun like sexy beast.
Sexy beast doing gardening. I can see it. We might have a few. Oh, that brings me to. Are you? Because I want to get to know more about you, and we have a few minutes. Are you like a foodie, or like what are you besides music? Who are you?
It's mostly music, to be honest. I mean, I'll go home and I'll just write in my studio. I drive motorbikes. Yeah, bit of a petrol head. It's an old car, but it's a quick car. But yeah, motorbikes, they're cool. Apart from that, I don't do much. It's mostly music.
Well, geez, being on the road for a year plus and writing music and playing music, and yeah, that's not much, you know. I mean, come on now, slacker.
I know, we get home and then it's like, right, you got 3 days off, then we go into rehearsals and it's like, more rehearsals, okay.
And I'm glad that you talked about that because people don't understand. I use the word decompress and reacclimate because we're out on the road too, and we're only doing it. I mean, this run we're on there for 5 weeks and a couple of times 8 weeks. A year, I think I would not only kill him, but I would kill everybody around me because how do you do it? And that being said, how do you think that is the big uptick in the what's going on in the music community with depression and just, I'm not even going to say bad decisions, but what you got to do to keep going because you're so exhausted, you're so tired, and then just the lifestyle.
I guess, you know, me included, sometimes you feel like there's no way out. See what I did there? And you just have to keep going because you send out on the road, you've got all these shows booked, all the fans are buying the tickets, you keep waking up a new city every day, you got to sleep on a moving bus, or try to sleep on a moving bus. You know, it is very difficult. Very difficult.
So, and if you don't want to answer these questions, I'm sorry. I'm just curious for myself because I know I go through some bits of, you know, where I just don't feel human. Like, I love what I do. I mean, there's nothing more awesome than sitting down next to you and talking to you about this stuff because I am a fan and I like you and I want to know what it's really like. But I juggle that with, like, you know, doing that while I'm married on the road and trying to do everything else. And I just sometimes feel like I'm going to explode and I just find myself in this dark place and I don't know how to get. For me, getting out of it is listening to music of your guys. It's like my happy place, like you are on stage, is when I'm at the tire flipping or at the gym flipping a tire, listening to a badass song. Like, by the way, I can flip the tractor tire. Anyway.
Yeah, you know, I've broken down many times on tour. It is really hard. But it happens. You go through the motions. You're still out on tour, and you just got to get on with it. So, you know, I do sympathise with some of these touring musicians and mental health and stuff like that because, you know, I've actually felt it myself. This tour, this one right here, is probably the only one which I haven't broke down on yet. So.
Well, that's awesome. Awesome. And just for advice, since you've been through it and you've gone through it and you're seasoned, what would you tell the newcomers of how to deal with it? Because obviously you guys cut tooth and nail to get to where you are, and I see you guys as one of the biggest bands on stage worldwide, but that just didn't happen overnight, and I can't imagine the blood, sweat, and tears that went into that. So what would you recommend to those people that say, I want that, but how do I get there without just losing my soul?
Well, I mean, you have to be willing to sort of sell your soul, really, and just sacrifice everything if you want to do it, because the only way bands make any money these days is to tour their asses off, and unfortunately that's what you've got to do. So I really feel, for the up and coming smaller bands that try so hard and they don't get any money thrown at them from labels. They got to travel 12 weeks in a van driving themselves. It's really difficult. We are kind of lucky in that sense because we always got a bus and a driver, but it's still hard, So those younger bands and up-and-coming bands, they've got even more of a struggle than us. So just be careful and be willing to sacrifice everything.
Well, that being said, I'm going to turn it brighter since you mentioned up-and-coming bands. And, I mean, if I was an up-and-coming band and, you shouted me out and said, hey, I listened to that band, I would shit myself. So that being said, what bands that are up-and-coming or newer or bands that are not yet super huge would you recommend or that you rock out?
There's a young band in the UK called Shapes, or Shapes, whatever they're called. I'm friends with a few of them. We did some demos in my studio. You're like a cross between, I don't know, they remind me of Rage Against the Machine, but with a new sort of modern edge on them. Really cool band, nice guys, and they're on tour with us in Europe and UK after this tour. So check them out. I think their album's out really soon, but they've dropped a few songs off the newer album. They've got a EP, I think, out as well. But really cool band, awesome people.
So does it feel awesome to you that not only are you this awesome rock star that people come to watch, but you're now a mentor because your work, you know what I mean? They've got to be. If I was a musician and I was in the position of not only is this guy cool and I like talking to him and he's a friend of mine, but he's working with us and he's doing this. That's more than just you saying you like them. You see something in them.
Yeah. The first time I saw them, I saw something in them, and then I had the opportunity to record them. They're on the same management as us, and I had the opportunity to help record their demos and maybe develop the songs a little bit more. So it's just awesome being part of something like that, especially when I dig their music as well, and then you're asked to help them out. It's like, oh, this is really cool, being part of it. There's a couple of bands in Wales that I've helped out.
Well, and on that note is because I first saw you guys in the Warped Tour scene. You guys have, I believe, broke and crossed that barrier, but I also feel like your band is one of those bands that helped build that scene. Over here in the States, when Warped Tour would come around, we were excited because we knew you guys would be around then, and you guys built a scene, but now that scene is kind of on a, well, Warped Tour as we know it is gone. But I mean, that whole, what do you think is going to fill that vacuum? Where are the younger fans are going to go for the music that's really freaking awesome and not pop, that most radio stations won't or can't play because it's either too hard or it doesn't fit their playlist, but that there's an audience that's hungry for it. What do you think is the next for them?
I don't know. I mean, Warped was definitely a niche sort of market, like you say, the younger bands and the younger sort of crowds. I did read the other day that Slipknot might be taking Knotfest on the road, so that might help to fill the void, but maybe not for the younger fans. But there's definitely an opening in the market for something as cool as Warped was, but it was so dangerous because of the weather.
Oh, that shit was fucking brutal. I don't know how you guys did it because it was a show a day for 3 months at least.
Yeah.
And I mean, I know on the media side what we had to go through, and I know from behind the scenes what you guys had to go through. But fans don't understand that. They were just waiting on that 112-degree pavement waiting for you guys to come out. And you guys, I don't know how you do it.
It was very difficult. We only did 2 weeks, thankfully. But those 2 weeks, it felt like time was slowing down because of the heat and just how difficult everything was. But, you know, it was still fun. It was still fun. And the people came to watch, and we had great shows, and it was just awesome times. And I think with a tour like that, when all the bands are hanging out in the car park backstage, that's when it starts to become more fun, you know. Everyone's hanging out and making friends and drinking beers and grilling food, whatever. Just good times.
Well, I appreciate all the time, speaking of time, that you shared with us. And I know I kind of went off the rails because normally time I'm like all, fun and excited. And I think this was fun and exciting. I just want to get to know you on a different level. So I think we did that. You, me, and everybody else knows. Except for I didn't ask what's your favorite cereal, and I'm just curious.
Cereal? I like shredded wheat.
Shredded wheat, for real?
Shredded wheat, yeah.
You got all those options of like Oreo-flavored cereals and peanut butter, and you pick shredded wheat. That's interesting.
Yeah, it's just something about the texture when the milk gets it. I don't know. So I'm a weirdo.